This conference will now be recorded.
There it is. All right. So hello and welcome everyone to Forgiveness Friday, EPT Live. I'm working with Alesandra today, or Allie. You go by Allie?
Allie's fine, yeah.
Okay. All right. So before we begin, I just want to explain what EPT is for anybody who's watching. EPT stands for Emotional Polarity Technique. And instead of relying on traditional talk therapy or medication, EPT relies on the science of forgiveness, and it uses forgiveness to help resolve unresolved conflicts in people's lives so that they can be relieved of any sort of emotional pain or suffering they might be going through. And it works for adults and for kids. So today I'm working with Allie. And Allie, is it okay if we are recording this right now?
Yes.
You're being watched. It could be posted.
Yes, it's okay.
Okay, good. I mean, we've had some people view, but not, most of the time people, if they watch them, they don't necessarily comment. It's, just so they can kind of see what it's like. Um, I guess sometimes it might be nosy family members. Sorry, Cynthia. No, it's okay. All right, so normally I kind of do a little bit more of an introduction, but we won't worry too much about it. Oftentimes in the chat, if anybody has a question, they can comment, whatever, it goes over there. I know that sometimes people or my mom is usually the one doing it. She will she'll type up the statements and stuff, but if she's not here, then we won't have that. You can always steal a transcript if you need it. But for now, we'll let it be what it is. Okay. So what is it that you want to focus on today for your session?
I hadn't really thought about it too much.
Okay.
I think more of I've been dealing with a lot of accepting myself, kind of down lately. Dealing with some depression, just really not believing in myself, that kind of thing, supporting myself, giving myself like motivation. I don't know where it's coming from, but I guess that's kind of a push in some direction.
And has it been going on a while?
Yeah, like I mean, I've kind of struggled with it for a long time, but recently it's been pretty bad the past few months.
Okay, and it's just feeling that. Well, I mean, we're all in this kind of crazy 2020.
Yeah.
Crazy. But what do you do, or do you have a job or a school or?
Yeah, I work from home. I work at Navient
Oh, okay.
So I work from home now. Have my whole computer set at home, and yeah, I'm doing that right now.
Okay. Sorry, I had to mute Bonnie. Okay, so you're working from home. What's it called again?
Navient. It's a
Okay.
student company.
Oh yeah. I'm like that sounds familiar to me. Okay. And is there is that like what you're just doing for money now, or is there something else you want to do, or?
I was in school for nursing, but didn't want to do that anymore. So I just was taking core classes. Still didn't know what I wanted to do, so I just kind of felt like I was like wasting my time. So semester off and started just working, saving up money, maybe figure out what I wanted to do. That's kind of an issue for me too. I'm very indecisive, insecure about like my next step, that kind of thing. So that kind of deals with it too.
Unsure about your next step.
Yeah.
So you don't even know like what you would want or where you would go next or what you would do next, like more school or no?
I mean, yeah, school, but like I don't know what I want to change my major to. Just saving up my money right now.
Okay, well, that's not bad. Okay, but just feeling down and feeling like unmotivated and so So I'm assuming then what you would want to feel, or how you would want, you just want to feel a little bit more sure of yourself, maybe. Feel maybe confident in your decisions,
Yeah.
or at least a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
And myself, with my whole persona, like everything, just everything that I do, and
okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, I think a lot of times nobody's ever totally sure with, well, some people are especially sure with whatever decisions they make. Um, but for those of us who are less sure, it's more about just kind of trusting that the decision that we make. Because sometimes it's like you have two choices of two good decisions, and you're like, oh no, it's so hard to decide on the two good that you're like, I can't do both of the good things. Uh,
Yeah.
um, and like that could be tough. All right, um, so you just work from home doing
And
the loan stuff,
usually
huh?
I work in building, but right now, I'm working from home.
Do you like your job?
It's okay.
I
I
mean, you're
don't
employed. That's good.
I don't like it. I don't love it, but I like it. It doesn't bother me. Not something I want to do in the long run though.
But also, like, it's just impressive because there are a lot of people who are like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, or I don't have a job, and you've got it, and like you're making money. Like, if there was ever an excuse to really do nothing, now is the time.
Yeah.
So it's awesome that you have that.
Thanks.
All right. So even just having goals. So you do want to finish school,
Hmm.
wherever that might get you.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, I'm just trying to think like what, like having a bachelor's degree is handy, but oftentimes it doesn't really matter what your major is. Depends. I guess it depends on what you want to do. I mean, even for nursing, like if you got a major in English and then later decided to do nursing, you could, you know, or business. Like you don't even need an undergrad in business to do business. Like, yeah, there aren't teaching, I guess, and you could have a major in anything if you want to be a teacher.
Yeah.
You're like, no,
Thought about it, but
no. Yeah, so I don't know. Any sort of science, I guess, or health, you could work any major that's science or health related could get you some sort of job in a health related field.
yeah.
Um, uh, or like physician's assistant, physical therapy. Like, what else is there? Are you interested in the health related field, or are you just like, no, not for me?
Well, I'm a CNA. I'm certified for CNA. I did
Hmm.
it in school, so I did my clinicals and everything through that at a nursing home,
Hmm.
and so I passed my test, everything. I'm certified, but I never pursued my CNA license just because
Oh,
it was a lot. So I never actually used it. But after I got my license is when I wasn't sure what I wanted to do before I took that class. It was the JEL program. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. It's just a program at school where you can take a certain amount of classes, that kind of thing. But I wasn't sure what I wanted to do until I took that class. So then after I
hmm.
took that class, I was like, okay, I'll try nursing. I took about a semester of classes, took an anatomy class, and after that I was like, not sure if this is still what I want to do.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. Well, do you have any other curiosities in any other direction or no?
I used to want to try veterinary school, but
Oh,
after
that's
I took that,
extra hard.
yeah, I know. It was either that CNA class or it was the veterinary class. But I heard it was really hard, so I just took the CNA.
Though, I mean, even working in a vet clinic, like there's a lot of, I guess there's more than just being a veterinarian.
Yeah.
So, all right. So that's one possibility, but But regardless, it's all about just feeling okay where you are and whatever choices you make, you know. Okay, so we'll just go with that. Okay, so I'm just taking notes. It's if you've not done EPT either video or on the phone, it's often like there's sometimes dead space or I'm like writing notes or I'm testing.
Yeah.
So let's see here.
Yeah, I never did it over the phone or video chat. So.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I think we're going to focus kind of on this like depression, this non-motivation, in general, feeling down, just to maybe feel a little bit lighter there. I mean, we'll fit in the accepting self and feeling better where you are and what you're doing. But I think like even just feeling happier to maybe you might be feeling overwhelmed even trying to decide what to do or even look at what you want to do next, or if you're just like just even just to feel better where you are doing what you're doing and being okay with it for now for however long you need to, that would be good too. All right, so do you have the magnets?
I do.
All right.
What else do I need?
Okay, so let me see what you have there.
I have these. Wait.
Oh, there's my mom. She's popped on. Okay, perfect. The blue side, what you want to do is put them on your head like this. Oh, wait, where's my blue? There it is. The blue side, put them on your head like this. All right, and then we're going to squeeze and inhale. So breathe in, breathe out, and then you can release when you breathe out. Breathe in. Yeah. Breathe in. And then your mom hasn't done it to you. You put one finger on the bridge of your nose and one on the back of your head, like your thumb. It's a little bit of a, and then we're going to breathe again. So breathe in. Yeah. Breathe in. Breathe out. And breathe in. Breathe out. All right, so that's just to build rapport. So when I'm testing, we're all balanced. Okay. And let's see here. I'm looking at the chat window and things. My mom popped in, so she'll probably start typing things soon. And for my mom who's on there, she's like, what are we working on? We're working on Allie, and we're working on her depression and just feeling like down, unmotivated, and just working on helping her to accept herself and where she's at and be okay with it. Just have a little bit more peace and a little bit more motivation, right? Yeah? Okay, good. Okay, good. Mm-hmm. It sounds like you're fairly busy. Like if you want to do something, you go after it, but then you are like, oh, I don't know, or you're like unsure. You're like, I'm gonna do it, and then you're like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I guess the thing is to keep in mind, like if you go down a road for so long, even if you're working, I mean, it can help reach whatever goals you want, but also if you change your mind, you can always change. You can always change at any time. So, all right, so let's see here. Distress. So I'm testing using muscle testing on my hand, and distress for this is like a 7. So not super high, mid-level high, I assume. And then elation is kind of in the middle. It's about a 5. So I test the elation just to see if there's something about it that maybe you kind of enjoy. I guess sometimes depression can be enjoyable because like you feel like you don't ever have to do anything. Let's be honest, like where you're like, I kind of am okay with having depression because then I don't have any responsibility or something like that. Sometimes. All right, so stage of healing is bargain. So there are 7 stages of healing, and we are in number 3, which is bargain. If you're familiar with the stages of grief, it's pretty similar. And show up is weak. So that's not too surprising. That's the motivation. Sorry, I'll explain. Okay, so there are 4 blocks to healing, and they're show up, pay attention, tell the truth, and let go. So showing up is like the first thing. If you're not able to show up for yourself or show up to do something, or you don't want to be there, then it can prevent you from healing. So for something you're not showing up. All right, so now let's see. Do one issue. Who? All right, now I'm testing on my little flow chart here.
Okay.
You've probably seen some of these charts, huh?
Yeah.
I'm like, we got the one in the back here. Look, see, they match.
Yeah, it's just been a while.
All right. Who? Self. Anger. Okay. Anger. Anger at mom. So is there a reason you'd be angry at your mom right now?
Right now?
Yeah, well, like, I guess currently.
No. I mean, I just moved out a few months ago, but since I moved out, me and my mom have been on a way better.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
We would do sessions before, yes, understood, but now that I moved out, like we've been doing a lot better.
Okay. Okay, so my anger. Okay. Okay, so how about let's see here. So when you were angry, what were you guys mad about, or what did you fight about?
I don't know, we fought all the time. At least just from living here, I guess it was just anything really, anything we could fight about, we just always just it
You
has
just
to be a specific question because we would always just argue all the time.
Okay, so is it because you don't feel like she understands you, or you guys I don't know. Is that something? Or she doesn't listen?
That was a big thing for me, that I felt she doesn't listen.
Okay.
Like she listens, but she doesn't process it, I guess, or put herself in my spot, maybe.
She's a little bit more fast-paced, you're a little bit more slow-paced?
I guess so. I guess that's the way.
Because you feel like she doesn't listen. Okay.
Yeah.
Or and like her responses seem maybe impulsive?
Yes. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you think she's not listening because she responds so fast? Or yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You guys both may feel the same way.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's often the case. All right. Okay, so it comes down to when you were 4 years old. So we're checking to see if there's an original, and it's mom's anger. With your dad. Was he around, or?
At 4, trying to think back at 4. 4, my parents were separating on and off. They weren't married, but they didn't live together. It was just very on and off at that time.
Okay, so they were just on and off. Did your mom want to be with your dad, or was it like just, they never really wanted?
I think my mom did want to be with my dad, but at the age of 5 and 6, she had a boyfriend and we moved in with him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, at the age of 4, they were, I
Still
don't
on
think
and off.
they were really together, but from my eyes, they were together because I would see him and he would come over and, but so long ago. Um, but yeah, at the age of 5 and 6, she had a new boyfriend and we moved into his big house and really big different
So
setup
were
there.
your mom and dad kind of together slash on and off basically since before you were born?
Um, I think I think it was until probably until I was 4 that they started to become on and off because they were together. When I was born, they were together. Um, yeah, I think it was until around that age that they started breaking it off, and then my mom found that new boyfriend when I was 5, and we
Okay.
moved in with him and that stuff.
Okay. So mom's angry with dad when you're 4 because um was it like mutual decision? I'm wondering if like she wanted to make it work and he was just like, no, it's not gonna happen, or maybe vice versa.
Um, I don't I don't remember. I do remember now they did get back together after that when I turned 8. And I do know that from then it was my mom wanted to work it out. My mom wanted to keep it together, but my dad was like, no, no.
Oh, so you know at 8 that was happening.
Yeah, I don't know if it, when I was at 4 that that was the same situation, but yeah,
Okay, so it could have been more like I just wondered if it was mutual or if like one of them was like, no, let's make it work, and the other one wasn't. I just was trying to figure that out, or if it was like, no, we're both never, this is never gonna work.
I'm not sure about it.
Okay.
It was just so on and off that at that time I don't know.
Well, and I mean, your anger with your mom is that she doesn't listen, and it's mom's anger with dad. Maybe uh, maybe it's the same. He doesn't listen. It could be the other way too. You might all just feel like nobody listens to anyone.
Maybe.
I mean, I like, would that make sense that your dad wouldn't listen?
Yes, it
Okay,
would. Yeah,
okay,
it would.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Um, uh, maybe yeah, that works. He just doesn't listen. I don't know what it was that they might have. I don't know if there was any, if you know of anything, like if there was any sort of affairs or if either of them had boyfriends and girlfriends on the side. Do you know anything like that? Or
Um,
were they pretty committed to each other when they were together?
I don't know none of any affairs or anything. I just know once they were done, my mom had her boyfriend and my dad had his girlfriend. They both had their own separate partners.
Oh wow. So like right away
Um,
or
at least
close to it.
yeah, close to it, yeah.
Like for you, it was basically like parents are together and then suddenly they're apart and they have boyfriends and girlfriends.
Yeah, from my eyes, yes.
Okay.
I don't know how far it was, but from my eyes, that's how I saw it. Yeah.
It was just like they're broken up and they have their own people now.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, so it was like, so from your eyes it could have been slow, but for you it was like suddenly you're like, what? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Um and then again, okay, we'll go with that. We'll just go with he doesn't listen. Um okay. And I'm kind of trying to tile this together. Do you have your magnets?
Yeah.
So the red side, put one on your liver. So your liver is, you know where your liver is, right? More or less.
Is it my left side? My left side,
Left
right?
side. Or no, right side.
The right
This is
side?
right. Right side.
Okay. The red side?
Yep. Red
Okay.
on your right side. And then one on your forehead. Red on your forehead. All right, and then breathe in. And we're thinking about mom's anger at dad when you're 4 because he doesn't listen. All right, breathe in again. Breathe in. Are you your mom or dad's first child or no?
Um, I'm not my mom's first child, but I am my dad's first child.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then there's other emotion. Okay. And then another emotion is heart. It's lost and vulnerable. It's your dad feels lost and vulnerable.
With my dad, I feel lost and vulnerable.
Your dad feels lost and vulnerable.
My dad feels lost and vulnerable.
From 4.
Oh. Okay.
Any thoughts, ideas?
I mean, thinking back, I would stay with my dad a lot in his house.
Okay.
And I would always feel so sad for him because I didn't want him to feel alone.
Oh.
Yeah, and I never wanted to leave him just because, like, I didn't want my dad to be by himself. So
Okay.
that was always like a really big thing for me. I never wanted to go home because I would always feel so sad that my dad was by himself and not with us.
And he didn't have anyone else like over. It was just you and him?
He had some roommates, but
Oh.
yeah, just like an old friend was one of them, and he had his whole life, and he had another one from like just that he met at work, like no real close, like he had his friends and stuff, but that was a big thing for me that I was always really sad that he was by himself, and I didn't want him to be by himself.
Okay. I think it's he feels lost and vulnerable mostly because maybe you're just it's not because he feels alone, but that like I think it might be more he did like were there any other kids in the house? Like was there anybody else?
There was his roommate had a girlfriend, and they had a they had a baby together, but he was like the same age as me. Now that I think about it, so yeah, they did have a kid around. Since it was his girlfriend, it was every like other weekend, just like how I went over there. But
Okay.
yeah, it was another kid my age who would go over there too, play with my toys. I had all my stuff, and he would play with all my stuff.
I mean, I think it's also just like he feels lost and vulnerable because you're sad and he can't fix it.
Mm.
Yep. All right. Like okay. All right, so the blue side on your heart, blue side, and then blue side on your forehead. All right, and breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe in. All right. And then for you, it's stomach, low self-esteem. And so did you have any other siblings? Your mom has an older.
Yeah, I have my sister. She's 25, I think,
Okay.
or 26. My older sister. That's just my mom's. It's not my. We don't have the same father. And then I have my little brother, which we do have. We have the same dad. He's 12.
Okay. All right. So you have a younger brother, same dad.
Same dad. Yep.
Okay. So I feel my low self-esteem. Do you know if your mom had any miscarriages?
No, not that I know
Okay.
of.
Okay.
I don't think she did.
Okay. Yeah, it's like a sadness. So you're low self-esteem. Because at 4 because it's like because my family's breaking up. It might also like you probably couldn't quite understand that, but it's like everybody just seems sad and lonely and and you're just kind of absorbing it and maybe not blaming yourself, but just really feeling everything for everyone. So my low self-esteem because I mean, what's interesting is I'm getting that you're feeling lonely at 4. Like maybe if you're at your dad's house, maybe you're missing your mom, and when you're at your mom's house, you're missing your dad. So it's just like you're never feeling like you're all together. Yeah, like we can't all be together. That's what it is. I feel low self-esteem because we're not all together, and it's like it's like you feel like a part of yourself is missing when they're not there all together.
Yeah. And that has also kind of been a big thing for me, like with family, because it's just us. Like it's just my mom, my grandma, my dad, my sister that live, and my brother, of course, that live here in Indiana. As far as that, we don't have any other family
Mm-hmm.
living in. So family has been a big, like, kind of like how you said, like a missing piece. I don't have any other family that's close by.
Okay.
They're all out of state or out of the country.
Okay. Yeah, so okay, all right. And I think that's a part of like not being able to feel okay where you are. Like there's a part of your heart that's kind of like a little bit broken or like missing, and it's like I can't feel good if that part is missing or not there. But we'll change that. All right. Okay. And then blue again, blue on your stomach and blue on your forehead. All right, and breathe in. Breathe in. And breathe in. All right. And then we're good. All right, that's a lot of emotions. Now we're gonna do forgiveness statements. Oh, okay. So last time I did this with someone, so there's a few ways since we're apart and I can't touch you. Here's a few ways you can kind of sit and breathe while we do this forgiveness statements. There's or let's see here, you can tap your head like this. If you can hold the magnets with the red side on your head like this, that's another way you can do it while you're saying statements. And if you want to just kind of change up while we're saying statements, that's fine too. Also, fear release points, which are right under your collarbone, right here. You can just rub those like this. So you're kind of like holding your heart while we say statements. You can also hold the magnets like this with the red side on your right hand. So yeah, tapping is kind of nice, kind of keeps you awake while we're saying statements.
Okay.
But I tested for trauma and I got a P2 trauma. I don't know if your mom tests for that, but it's basically phase 1 trauma is fight or flight response, and phase 2 is freeze. So I think in general you probably have a tendency to just kind of freeze up and not be able to well, make a decision, I guess, is one of them. And then when you do, you're just like forging ahead, and then you're like, it's too much.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so I'll hold the magnets. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so just repeat after me.
Okay.
And I have my forgiveness card. These are handy for making statements. Okay, and we'll see. Sometimes my mom pops in at the end. Yeah, right. Red is right. I know I have red and blue on this side, but it's red. I just remember right, red. All right, so just repeat after me. I forgive myself for believing.
I forgive myself for believing.
I have to feel low self-esteem when I'm 4
I have to feel low self-esteem when I'm 4
because our whole family can't be together.
because our whole family can't be together.
And breathe. I forgive myself for believing
I forgive myself for believing
I can't accept myself
I can't accept myself
or where our family is
or where our family is
without feeling anger,
without feeling anger,
lost and vulnerable,
lost and vulnerable,
or low self-esteem.
or low self-esteem.
And breathe. I forgive myself for believing
I forgive myself for believing
I have to I have to feel my mom's anger
I have to feel my mom's anger
when I'm with my dad,
when I'm with my dad,
when I'm 4,
when I'm 4,
because he doesn't listen.
because he doesn't listen.
Yeah, breathe. I forgive myself for believing
I forgive myself for believing
I have to stay stuck in a 4-year-old mindset,
I have to stay stuck in a 4-year-old mindset,
waiting for my parents to be happy again,
waiting for my parents to be happy again,
where we can all be together again
where we can all be together again
before I can feel okay
before I can feel okay
and feel worthy.
and feel worthy.
And breathe. I forgive myself for believing
I forgive myself for believing
I have to blame my parents for this low self-esteem.
I have to blame my parents for this low self-esteem.
And breathe. I forgive my 4-year-old self for believing
I forgive my 4-year-old self for believing
it was her fault
it was her fault
that her parents couldn't be together,
that our parents couldn't be together,
and it was her job to fix it.
and it was her job to fix it.
And breathe. I forgive myself, or I forgive my 4-year-old self
I forgive my 4-year-old self
for using low self-esteem
for using low self-esteem
to get my parents to be with each other
to get my parents to be with each other,
and talk to each other.
talk to each other.
And breathe. I forgive myself for believing
I forgive myself for believing
my dad has to feel
my dad has to feel
safe, secure, and complete
safe, secure, and complete
before I can let go
before I can let go
of feeling lost and vulnerable.
and feeling lost and vulnerable.
And breathe. I forgive myself for believing
I forgive myself for believing
I have to stay angry at my mom
I have to stay angry at my mom
when she doesn't listen,
when she doesn't listen
or I feel like she doesn't listen.
or feel she doesn't listen.
Yeah, breathe. I feel like if your mom was in here, she would tell us like the whole story, but we don't need it. For now, at least. All right. I forgive myself for believing
I forgive myself for believing
that this memory from when I was 4
that this memory from when I was 4
has to change
has to change
before I can feel safe, secure, and complete.
before I can feel safe, secure, and complete.
Love, forgiveness, and happiness.
Love, forgiveness, and happiness.
Yeah, and breathe. I forgive myself for believing
I forgive myself for believing
I can't feel
I can't feel
worthy, calm, and content
worthy, calm, and content
unless our family is all together
unless our family is all together
or my parents aren't fighting.
or my parents aren't fighting.
And breathe. I forgive my 4-year-old self.
I forgive my 4-year-old self.
Forgiving my parents something to fight about.
Forgiving my parents something to fight about.
Just to keep them together.
Just to keep them together.
Yeah, breathe. I forgive myself for believing.
I forgive myself for believing.
The only way to get family to stay together
The only way to get family to stay together
is to fight.
is to fight.
Yeah, breathe. I forgive my 4-year-old self for believing.
I forgive my 4-year-old self for believing.
Fighting
Fighting
is the only way to keep family together.
is the only way to keep family together.
And it's better to be together fighting
It's better to be together fighting
than not together.
than together.
Yeah, breathe. I forgive my mom
Forgive my mom
for hurting my feelings
for hurting my feelings
when she doesn't listen.
when she doesn't listen.
Breathe. I forgive my mom
I forgive my mom
for being angry at my dad
for being angry at my dad
when I was 4
when I was 4
because he doesn't listen.
because he doesn't listen.
And breathe. So here, I forgive my dad
I forgive my dad
for feeling lost and vulnerable
for feeling lost and vulnerable
when I was 4
when I was 4
because he couldn't fix things the way I wanted
because he couldn't fix things the way I wanted
when I was 4.
when I was 4.
And breathe. I give my mom permission to forgive me
I give my mom permission to forgive me
when I don't want to listen to her.
when I don't want to listen to her.
And breathe. I give my mom permission to forgive me
I give my mom permission to forgive me
for blaming her for my anger
for blaming her for my anger
when she doesn't listen.
when she doesn't listen.
And breathe. I give my dad permission
I give my dad permission
to forgive me
to forgive me
for blaming him
for blaming him
for feeling lost and vulnerable
for feeling lost and vulnerable
when our family didn't make any sense to me
when our family didn't make any sense to me.
because I was only 4.
Yes, I was only 4.
Yeah, breathe. I love and accept myself
I love and accept myself
even when I'm afraid.
even when I'm afraid.
I won't be able to show up
I won't be able to show up
without feeling angry or low self-esteem
without feeling angry or low self-esteem
because my family can't all be there.
because my family all can't be there.
And breathe. I love and accept myself
I love and accept myself
even when I'm afraid.
even when I'm afraid.
Being happy and successful
Being happy and successful
means family won't show up.
means family won't show up.
And breathe. I love and accept myself even when I'm afraid.
I love and accept myself even when I'm afraid.
Doing well
Doing well
and having a happy life
and having a happy life
means means my parents won't be happy
means my parents won't be happy
or won't ever be able to be happy.
or will never be able to be happy.
And breathe. I love and accept myself,
I love and accept myself,
even when I'm afraid.
even when I'm afraid.
Letting go of my low self-esteem
Letting go of my low self-esteem
means accepting my family might not get together again
means accepting my family might not get together again
when I'm 4.
when I'm 4.
And breathe. I give my 4-year-old self permission
I give my 4-year-old self permission
to accept
to accept
she can feel
she can feel
worthy, calm, and content,
worthy, calm, and content,
even though her parents don't.
even though her parents don't.
Yeah, and breathe. I give my 4-year-old self permission
I give my 4-year-old self permission
to let go of her mom's anger
to let go of her mom's anger,
and her dad's feeling lost and vulnerable,
her dad feeling lost and vulnerable,
and just enjoy being 4.
just enjoy being 4
Instead of trying to fix them.
instead of trying to fix them.
Yeah, and breathe. I forgive my 4-year-old self for believing.
I forgive my 4-year-old self for believing.
Or how about no, I give my 4-year-old self permission
I give my 4-year-old self permission
to feel safe, secure, and complete,
to feel safe, secure, and complete,
not understanding everything.
not understanding everything.
And I give her permission
And I give her permission
to make the choice to just have fun
to make the choice to just have fun
and just be 4.
and just be 4.
And breathe. Let's see. I love and accept myself even when I'm afraid.
I love and accept myself even when I'm afraid.
I'm gonna make a bad decision
I'm going to make a bad decision
and things will be worse,
and things will be worse,
or my family will be broken up more.
or my family will be broken up more.
And breathe. I forgive my 4-year-old self for believing.
I forgive my 4-year-old self for believing.
It was her responsibility to keep the family together.
It was her responsibility to keep the family together.
And breathe. I give my 4-year-old self permission
I give my 4-year-old self permission
to accept
to accept
she's only 4
she's only 4
and her mom and dad love her
and her mom and dad love her
and they want her to have fun.
and they want her to have fun.
And breathe. I give my 4-year-old self permission
I give my 4-year-old self permission
to show up
to show up
and have fun
and have fun
with whether my mom or dad are there or not.
with whether my mom or dad are there or not.
And breathe. How about I give myself permission
I give myself permission
to let go of this I want to say let go of this loyalty
to let go of this loyalty
to to being sad with family
to being sad with family
and to be able to enjoy
and to be able to enjoy
and accept myself
and accept myself
and my family,
and my family,
honoring them as a part of me,
honoring them as a part of me,
but also being able to go my own way
but also being able to go my own way
and feel worthy, calm, and content,
and feel worthy, calm, and content,
safe, secure, and complete
safe, secure, and complete
with the choices that I make
with the choices that I make
or don't make.
or don't make.
Yeah. Um, okay, I forgive my 4-year-old self for believing.
I forgive my 4-year-old self for believing.
She has to decide between her mom and her dad.
Has to decide between her mom and her dad.
Yeah, breathe. That would be hard. And you might have thought that, like, wait, what? Somebody explain this to me. Okay. I give my 4-year-old self permission
I give my 4-year-old self permission
to feel worthy, calm, and content,
to be worthy, calm, and content,
safe, secure, and complete,
safe, secure, and complete,
knowing she doesn't have to pick between her mom and her dad.
and she doesn't have to pick between her mom and her dad.
And they're always with her.
And they're always there.
And breathe. How about without this anger,
Without this anger,
I am free
I am free
to accept where I am
to accept where I am
and show up for my family,
and show up for my family,
even if they don't listen.
even if they don't listen.
And breathe. Without this pattern, how about without this low self-esteem,
Without this low self-esteem,
I am free
I am free
to feel worthy, calm, and content,
to feel worthy, calm, and content,
being with my family,
being with my family,
even if it's just a few of them, or we're not, even when it feels incomplete, we'll say that.
even if it feels complete.
Yeah, and breathe. I give myself permission
I give myself permission
to accept.
to accept.
I can honor my family
I can honor my family
and the completeness
and the completeness
in I'm gonna say like in myself
in myself
without them physically being there,
without them physically being
because
there,
they're always there in my heart and in my history.
because they're always there in my heart and in my history.
And I can choose
And I can choose
love, forgiveness, and happiness
love, forgiveness, and happiness
for myself and for all of us.
for myself and for all of us.
Yeah, and breathe. Without this anger,
Without this anger,
feeling lost and vulnerable,
feeling lost and vulnerable,
and low self-esteem,
and low self-esteem,
I am free
I am free
to be there for myself and my family
to be there for myself and my family
and feel safe, secure, and complete.
and feel safe, secure, and complete.
Breathe. Without this pattern,
Without this pattern,
I am free
I am free
to love my 4-year-old self,
to love my 4-year-old self,
who did not have a clue what was going on,
who what was going on,
and still may not have a clue.
and still may not.
But I know the future,
I know the future,
and she is loved,
and she is loved,
and it's safe,
and safe
to be herself,
to be herself
and to make whatever decision.
and to make whatever decision.
Um, yeah, without upsetting her parents.
Without upsetting her parents.
Yeah, right. All right. How are you feeling?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot in there. Did it make some amount of sense?
Yeah, it did.
And I think I'm like, again, if mom wants to pop in here, she can for some more statements. But there's definitely it's definitely hard, this idea of almost having like a certain joy or making a certain decision, because like something could happen, right? That could be confusing or overwhelming. And I think that's like your 4-year-old self was just like, I don't know what's going on, and why can't we all be together? And accepting. I think if you're having trouble now accepting yourself, it's like really that 4-year-old self who just needs some love, that needs to know that she's okay where she's at. She doesn't even need to make a decision at 4. Like, there's no decisions that need to be made. It's just like, enjoy, know you're loved, know your family will be okay, because we're not 4 anymore. But it's hard because there's still some grief there, as far as just like maybe some of the loss when you're 4, probably, where you're like, I don't know how to process this. Things are kind of happening so quick, or feeling like they're happening so quick.
Yeah.
So, all right. Is there any? I mean, Sage of Healing is a 6. Showing up is stronger. And I think it's hard, even like that emotion with the idea of like showing up in kind of a mess can be a little overwhelming, but knowing that you're strong enough, you can handle it, I think is okay. How about without this pattern, I'm free.
Without this pattern, I am free.
To know I am strong enough.
To know I am strong enough.
And I'm not 4 anymore. I'm stronger than my 4-year-old self.
Stronger than my 4-year-old self.
And I can show up.
And I can show up.
For myself.
For myself.
And for my family.
And for my family.
Even if no one else is there.
Even though no one else is there.
Even if no one else is there.
No one else is there.
Yeah, right. I'm just testing. Yeah. Distress went down. I know you're probably feeling a little emotional. I think because we're kind of moving. The emotions are moving through. Oh, hi, Mom.
Hi. Here
What was that?
something.
That was like an evil giggle as you were coming in.
Well, I was looking at this, and I made a couple of statements, and one of it is, without this pattern, I can stop trying to change mom or dad before I can feel secure, safe, and loved. So I feel like you show up and your emotions escalate into the anger because you're in that 4-year-old scene, and you think that if I get all upset, then they're gonna know what's at stake, and they're gonna take the responsibility and fix it for me. And the more they don't, then the more I feel more stressed and upset with them. So you're not really having an argument about what you're having an argument about.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, my mom's not listening, because she doesn't hear what you're really saying, because it's coming from 4 years old. And it may even come out like a 4-year-old, and you're thinking, she just doesn't listen, she's not hearing what I'm saying, but that's really what you felt like at age 4. So
Yeah,
now it's,
nobody heard you.
and even
But
if your mom,
they weren't hearing your heart. You might not have said anything, but it's like, don't you know my heart?
well, and even if they hear you, they're not answering what you needed answered when you were 4. So they must not hear you. You know, like even if they hear you and respond to what you're actually saying, your little 4-year-old soul is saying, you still don't get it. You have saddled me with the responsibility of saving this family, and I'm tired of it. I'm done with it. I'm done with it.
Uh-huh.
Right? And you're looking to pass it over. So let's see, what was it? Well, I want to say, I forget, without this pattern, I don't have to save the family. Say that.
Without this
Without-
pattern, you have to save the family
By fighting.
by fighting.
Yeah. I refuse to save the family by fighting.
I refuse to save the family by fighting.
It's too much of a burden.
Too much of a burden.
And I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to lose my family, but I also don't want to save it by fighting.
Don't want to lose my family, but I don't want to save it by fighting.
Yeah. So without this pattern, I am free
I'm free
to stop trying to save my family.
to stop trying to save my family.
Yeah, and to stop depending on them to change what they're doing.
And stop depending on them to change what they're doing.
Yeah,
before I can feel. Yeah. Did you get it? Before I can feel.
Oh, before I can feel.
I don't know, safe, secure, and complete, happy, awesome, make a decision.
Agreed.
Freedom! Basically. All right. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I hope you may, again, if you've ever seen, there's a little sheet your mom probably has. It's like, here are all the things that you might feel later. Because sometimes you get the work done and you might spend a day crying and then you're like, oh, I feel better now. Or sleep or eat or be thirsty. But I hope that you feel a little bit better or a little bit lighter at some point. Maybe not at this very moment, but you will. You'll get there because I already tested and you're in stage 6. So I feel good about that. The stress is down, elation is down, show up is strong. Ooh, everything's strong. Thanks for helping us and being on here with us.
Thanks for helping me out.
All right, I'm gonna stop the recording.
That sounds good.
But you don't have to go off if you don't want to.